In here in the Volume.com studio at Lightning 100. Welcome back, Colin. How you been?
Very well, thank you very much.
All right.
Still walking around, which is,
Sometimes that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, you want a little bit more, but it's a nice, base level to have that you're still walking around on top of the earth.
Good start, yeah. Tonight you're going to be back inside Ryman Auditorium with your band Men at Work. You excited to be back in the Ryman?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've played there with Ringo. I don't know if I've played there on my own or not. I don't think I have.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I might have, but I don't think I have.
Yeah.
So, and this is, this is Men at Work. So it's my Los Angeles-based band. I'm the only, original member from the band who's playing. But I have a lovely band of Cubans and Guatemalans and Peruvians and me. So we just play pretty much a Men at Work set. So it's cool.
That's great. I was going to ask who's in the band, who's touring with you.
Well, they're actually musicians that I really met through Cecilia, my wife. She did an album a few years ago called Havana Rocks, and she went to Havana to do it. So she met up with this Cuban guy called San Miguel Perez, who played the tres, and he came over to the States, and she found him and brought him over to LA, and he started working with her, and so I started working with him as well. He knew a bass player who had just come over from Cuba also, Yosmel Montejo on bass, and Jimmy Branley, who's a fantastic drummer. He's known Cecilia for years. So basically, I just steal her musicians is really what I do. It seems to work quite well. And then Sheila Gonzalez, I met. I was actually she got recommended to me by Jason Fries, who plays with Green Day. So she's a great sax and flute and keyboard player, and myself and Cecilia, my wife, sings with me and plays percussion.
Got your own all-star.
Yeah, it's Men at Work with some women in the band.
That's great. I love it. I'm grateful to. I mean, it's fun to see when you're just a man at work, but the Men at Work is going to be great inside Ryman Auditorium.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
All those hit songs we love. It's incredible how much solo material you have put out over the years. Over a dozen records.
I don't know how many, maybe 15 or something like that.
Right? I was afraid to say the exact number because...
I don't know the exact number, but something like that, yeah. I always feel like I haven't really done very much, but that's how it feels anyway. But I've just been doing the same... I've been on the road for the last 30 years, really, and mainly solo. And so that's really what I do. I make a record and I go out and play it, and the people who come and see me, they like the new records, which is nice, which is really encouraging, keeps you going, because it's, as you well know, it's very difficult to get new music, get anyone to pay any attention to it. So it's really good if you can have a base level of fans that can tell other people, at least that has its own nourishment,
Yeah, I heard in an interview once, Paul McCartney said, I can tell that you don't like my new songs as much because you never pull out your phones to shoot video of them.
That's right. That's correct. It's a good gauge, exactly. I used to make a joke of the fact that when I was doing a Men at Work tour, I would throw my pick into the audience and people would fight for it, and if I do a solo show and I throw my pick into the audience, somebody just leans down, picks it up, and gives it back to me.
We got Colin Hay here in the Volume.com studio, and it is tonight his band Men at Work is headlining Ryman Auditorium. You can get tickets and info at colinhay.com and Ryman.com. His most recent record, Now and the Evermore, came out this spring. And I saw you did some of this record here in Nashville, or recorded some of it.
Yeah, I work with Compass Records here. I have done since 2003, so we recorded the strings here.
Nice.
We kind of orchestrated them back in LA, and I worked with a guy called Fred Cron who wrote the parts, and then here in Nashville, at the Compass Records studio, they know a really great, conductor or band leader who puts all the different players together, and they do a beautiful job. Yeah, so there was 5 or 6 songs that we really wanted to have strings on. It worked really well. It put a lot of beauty into the songs, you know.
I saw you worked with Gary West from Compass Records here too.
Yeah, well, I've been working with him since 2003, so he runs that label. Yeah.
You want to? I want to play one of the songs from the record, and we'd love for you to also play one acoustic. Would you like to play one of the songs?
Whichever you like first. Yeah, I'll try and. This is called "A Man Without a Name." I know you've seen me standing on the edges of your town. I can make you feel good if you're sad or feeling down. I am everywhere you care to look, and if you need me, I'm around. I can take you on a Greyhound trip, fly a fancy plane. We could sit up on a mountaintop or listen to the rain. And I don't fool myself, but if you want me, I could stay or I can go. I can't answer or explain how I got here or became a man without a name. I could buy the latest Cadillac for people I don't know, but it's not the same as I remember long ago. And I'm standing in the wings of understanding, just waiting for you to show. I still can't answer or explain how I got here or became a man without a name. Now I'm dancing with my silhouette, shadows from my past. My light was always shining bright, but I knew it couldn't last. And I'm stuck between the lines and the spaces, and time is standing still. Still can't answer or explain how I got here or became a man without a name. A man without a name. A man without a name.
Lightning 100. His name is Colin Hay, and his band Men at Work is headlining Ryman Auditorium tonight, 7:30 p.m. Tickets and info over.
I get to sleep.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna stop you from playing
Who's
that.
that guy? Oh, that song. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Men at Work doing Ryman Auditorium this evening, and grateful to have Colin Hay able to swing by the Volume.com studio before we get to see him and his current version of the band, which is probably this particular version of the band you have not toured before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my band that I have. It's just been, I've had the same band now for a few years, and so if I go out as Colin Hay or Colin Hay Band, they tour with me. But this tour is just a Men at Work set, so it's the same band, different set list.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, that's nice then.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course,
I never left the band. You see, I mean, I was the only one that never left. So in the end, there was no band left to leave.
Yeah, it was the original version of the band lasted to like 1985 or so. Or?
It was really the middle of 17. It was quite short. The middle of 79 until really the end of 1983. We never really played after that, so it was quite short-lived, like 4 years or something, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, when you're a band and you have that kind of, not that really the success created, you know, problems and so forth, but I think it's probably worth having some kind of traveling psychologist when you're on the road, because a lot of the problems that bands have, they're pretty tedious, and they're not very interesting, and they're not really very important, you know, in many ways, if you can actually communicate. But I think that when you're in your 20s, especially men, they have a very, very limited ability to communicate what's actually going on with them, you know. So I think that problems become a lot bigger than what they necessarily are, you know. And I think that's what happens with a lot of bands, you know. There's probably no need for you know, to break up, for example, or to have all kinds of acrimonious situations, you know. It becomes Spinal Tap very quickly, you know.
Yeah. I think the thing I've realized as an adult is that the whole world, probably all of us, could use therapy.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed, it's very hard to see the light at the moment. You know, there's so many horrendous things going on, but I think there are positive signs. It depends how far back you look. You know, it's deceptive in a way, because I think in a lot of ways things are slowly getting better, but it's very, very difficult to have a perception of that when you read the news every day, you know.
On the credits on this most recent record is Greg Bissonette.
Yes.
Who is also your bandmate in Ringo's All-Star Band, and Ringo on there as well.
Yeah, well, I wrote this little song, Now and the Evermore, as like a pandemic song, and I had the music for a while, and whenever I would play it to myself or listen to it, you know, a lot of ideas on your iPhone, but it was on my iPhone, and so I would play it to myself, and I always imagined Ringo playing on it, you know. And I'd finished the song, I recorded it and everything, and I had Jimmy Brandley played on it. He played beautiful drums and stuff. But I thought, I've always fancied Ringo playing on it, so I just thought, oh, well, I'll ask him, you know. So he said, yeah, send it over. So I just, you know, sent it over, and so the first thing you hear on the record is a rather iconic drum fill by the great Ringo Starr. So it's very exciting for me, not simply because I work with him in his band, but you know, it's just that dreamlike quality of you know, growing up with the Beatles and having them being. It was really, for me, there was the Beatles, and then there was everybody else. And my mother and father had a music shop, and so it's. In a lot of ways, I you know, I don't have a firm belief in the afterlife at all, you know, but sometimes I'd say to my mother and father, I just talk to them, I go, oh, you know, I've got Ringo playing on the new song, you know, and it's quite an extraordinary thing to happen. Very exciting.
Have you got to have like one-on-one time with him, or is it like that when you're out touring?
Yeah, I mean, he's great to tour with, you know. He's funny, and he's very, very, you know, he's a lovely guy, and so you know, my relationship with him is pretty, I would say, on a professional level. You know, I'm in his band, and so he's the boss, you know, and I'm a side guy, which I'm fine with, you know. But yeah, we've had lots of chats and stuff. It was great. So it's a lovely guy to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's two of them left, and
that's right.
I mean, for me and so many others, we were raised on the Beatles.
That's right.
And so,
well, it never loses its novelty factor, you know, of the fact that you turn around and Ringo's playing the drums, and Ringo's playing, and you're not only singing with him, singing his songs and all the other songs, whether it's Edgar Winter songs or Toto songs or Average White Band songs or my songs. Everyone's playing on everyone's songs, and so it does feel like a band. Nevertheless, you turn around and you think, my God, there's Ringo. Ringo's playing the drums.
You did. You put out a record last year, I Just Don't Know What to Do With Myself, which I imagine you said to yourself when lockdown happened, and you didn't get to be on the road like you've been for the past few decades. And you did a couple Beatles songs on that. Yeah,
I did. I was sitting around like we all were, thinking I just don't know what to do with myself. So I recorded the "Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying," the Jerry and the Pacemaker song, because I was reading about Jerry Marsden, how he passed away a few months before, and I was just messing around with that, you know, the C major 7th chord. Don't let the sun catch you crying. I was just messing around with that, and I thought, oh, that sounds okay. So I recorded that, and I sent it to my friend Chad Fisher, who just added some strings to it and made it sound beautiful. And he said, send me something else. And so I just kept on sending him songs, and after about a month we ended up with a record.
That's awesome. Well, we got Colin Hay hanging out with us here in the Volume.com studio. Men at Work is at Ryman Auditorium tonight. And of course, we've been talking about he's put on one great solo record after another. This is going to be the Men at Work songs. So any solo material at all? Just all Men at Work.
No, there's a couple, I think. Yeah, a couple of solo ones. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Colin, it's always great to spend some time with you.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
You've always been great to come by the radio station. We've been here for 17 years. I remember having you come by, though, back in 2003.
17 years ago?
When you were a man at work, and we were up on the 30th floor of the LNC Tower.
Right.
So
that was I think the first time I put out a record here with Compass was Man at Work.
It's been a while, almost 20 years. Well, it's cool. It's so cool to see you out there still making great music.
Thank you very much. And come down, anyone listening, you're in two minds, come down, you'll enjoy yourselves. What day is it today?
Today's Monday.
It's Monday. You're doing nothing else.
That's right. Yeah, Monday Night Football's not on yet, so come on out and see us at Ryman Auditorium, 7:30. It's Colin Hay from Men at Work. ColinHay.com and Ryman.com if you're looking for tickets.